If we had time, I'd start again. But it doesn't matter. I fixed it now, so now people can actually still put it back.
What we'll do is we'll get some AI.
People can actually see now what I look like.
We'll get some AI to equalise your colour of your face, and then we'll just backtrack it all across everything else.
Did you say AI one more time? I'm going to paint it on a stick and shove it where the sun don't shine.
In the AI, in the AI hole.
In your AI.
Welcome to the Graphters Podcast.
Hello, Gary.
Hello, John.
See you.
I can see you, and unfortunately that means that everybody else can see us too. Whose stupid idea was this?
It's got to be one of the moderators.
Whose stupid idea was to film us? I definitely blame those two.
They're trouble.
If in doubt, blame Emily and Tim.
The most
It's their fault.
wonderful people in the world.
Irritating. We do have whips being cracked at us now.
Yeah, we've got to be more efficient with our podcasting, and apparently people
We
want
have
to
to
see
be
us.
on ball.
On ball.
I have no idea why anyone would want to see us. I don't get this, John. I still don't understand it. I mean,
apologies for the lighting. We've probably gone into this
first time
half-cocked.
Yeah, half-assed, 100% half-assed. It's a beautiful, non-sunny evening of what has been part of a very nice sunny day.
Yeah.
Had a nice walk with the dog this morning, and it was really weird. It's one of those ones that normally in the wet is a real trudge. You know, I mean, it's an absolute bugger. Mm-hmm. When you've got the weather coming down at you like that, and it's like you're forcing yourself to do it, and there's so much mud on the part of this particular path I like to do. There's a lot of mud, swathes of it all over, and it's pretty awful. And normally you take you take one step forward and half a step back because you're like constantly dripping basically all this mud all over the place, and you're having to fight to basically get to move along. In the fields and up the hills and stuff. In fact, walking up the hills is even worse because if you get your foot in a mud patch,
you're going backwards,
and you're trying to go up, you're just doing that. And but today it was lovely. You know, all the bits that are normally mud, a lot of them have hardened up, flattened off from walkers. So it's just it was still like skating a bit, but no, it was cracking, and it was over. It felt like it was over practically before it began, rather than when I'm doing it in the horrible, wintry, sticky, horrible weather. So anyway, suffice it to say, it was a nice dog walk. I will cut all of that out, I'm sure.
Or will we?
This is I would say it's double the trouble, but it's not.
No, the video's synced to the audio, so we should be fine.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed everything sounds all right.
I've got this. Another thing people will realise now that we don't just do this without a drink in our hands.
No. I don't know if that gets us cancelled.
I hope not.
I mean, it is only orange juice, guys.
It's orange. Yeah, it's orange squash. In fact, mine is a sample that I supplied earlier on today. No.
I was going for a well-man check and I decided I'd do it at home. It was so good I decided I'd drink it.
I tell you what, if my wee tasted like this, I'd drink it all the time. Whew. So it's been another week of stuff, hasn't it?
It has. It's that time of year when the VFX animation and games community come together in Germany, in Stuttgart, and it was a wonderful trip to FMX. Big shout out to our partners at Escape Germany and Lenovo, who put together the stand that we actually attend and work with. And I was also invited to participate on the Access VFX stand as well while I was there, which was awesome. Got to speak to quite a few students and lecturers from all over Europe and further afield. Yeah, definitely good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Really, with anything like this, I've been just the one time when in 2018, and a little bit of a story, but a very short one, I suppose. At the time, I was feeling a little bit down about visual effects and stuff, and just work in general. And I was working for myself, and I felt like it was one of those. It's when you feel as though you're on a dead end road to nowhere kind of situation, and everybody gets it. You know, whether it's at our age or whether it's even younger, you can get that burnout.
Yeah,
and it's painful. And I booked the tickets to go to FMX, and the plane tickets and everything. And I went out on the same flight as a friend by accident, but that was really quite nice. And it was the best thing I could have done. The best thing I could have done for myself. I was feeling really low, and I came out with a whole new just love of what I do and what other people do in the same sort of like career in the same area. And it's just, you go and you just hope you're going to enjoy yourself. And what it does is it just like it was like a light bulb for me, the whole thing.
Yeah. There were so many people. I think the whole theme was connecting ideas this time, and it was strange because obviously last year I did a speaking slot, so I had slightly more access to more exclusive places, and you get invited to a few parties. I was so busy this year talking to customers and people attending the stands, working with the Access VFX team. It was just full on, like 8-9 hours a day. You know, you're on your feet and you are just. You're just working. I got back late Friday afternoon. We flew back on the Thursday night. Stayed over in London just because the flight was so late, so we could maximise the amount of time we were at the show, and I was just so tired. Did the train home and the whole weekend was just a blur. Just went, and it was like you almost need a holiday then just to recharge your batteries.
But we're not allowed them, John. We're not allowed holidays because that means we're not working.
Yeah, true. But it was so good. I mean, the funny story was me and my wisdom. The team liked to fly out from Heathrow because it's a direct flight. So me and my wisdom thought, well, I'll do a full day's work on Monday, and then I'll travel down by train on Monday night. We had a very early flight, so I was kind of like, okay, yeah. So if I get the latest train possible, and then do the slow train over London to Heathrow, I've only got like an hour, 2 hours to kill. Yeah, it turned out I've got 5 hours to kill. And airports are the strangest places when there aren't any people in them. I mean, I've got some fabulous photographs of Heathrow Terminal 3, all lit up, with no one in it. And you're just alone, and with security guards obviously and police with MP5s and whatever else, but you are alone. So sitting on those uncomfortable chairs, it was quite an experience. Yeah. So it was good fun. Yeah, good fun to to do that, and I'm it's very lucky to get out there, and I'm very grateful for the team to think of me and bring me out, because I like doing events.
So in particular, was there anything that you went to see that you looked at there and went wow, or anything that just made you think, this is. I mean, I know a lot of this stuff, the FMX is like the cutting edge. So you're watching stuff that's either just come out or it's bleeding edge in terms of particularly things like the Unreal and Unity in the gaming side.
This year, Unity and Unreal weren't in attendance. We probably could attribute that not in the grand scheme of grand scale that they have been before. Maybe that's attributed to obviously the things that are going on in the games and the VFX industry at the moment, which is a readjustment to pre-pandemic levels. We could see that other companies were actually showcasing. Side Effects were there en masse. It was great. I met with John Moncrief, and it was interesting to see that how much they were relying on other studios to actually showcase their product, as in their product in effect, in production this time. So rather than it be tech demos that people were seeing, it was a tech demo, but it was a tech demo attributed to studios that are doing really cool stuff with their technology. So that was an interesting take. The only talk I managed to go to was the education talks on the Thursday. The topic was AI, but it was interesting because Ben gave a talk on the uses that his students are doing over in America, and we saw he showed some really cool thought pieces that they'd put together. They would not have been able to have put together if they hadn't used AI and he attributed quite a heavy AI chain to it. There was a lot of work, and I know Gary's. Well, you can see it. This is great. You can see you doing it, but they were not using it.
I'm going to cut it all out.
They weren't using it, I think, in the scary way that we think about people using it, as in an unthought, unmeditated way of actually using it. They were actually looking at what can AI do to enhance my personal project to a point where it becomes a quality that I could not achieve in the time frame that I'd got, or with the resources that I'd got. That was the interesting stuff. So I'll have to put some links to some of that stuff if I can find it from LinkedIn.
Anything we can put in,
that'd be cool.
Anything we can enhance this debacle of a nightmare that's going on video for the first time ever.
It is.
Anything.
It's weird not having screens and not being able to whip up to the side.
It is a bit.
But yeah, if you get to,
it is a bit. Yes.
If you do get a chance to look at some of the stuff that Ben Hansford is doing over at USC, he is he was very respectful of the topic, is all I can say. He was very
of AI.
Very respectful of the topic, and there were a lot of professors in the room who had the hackles well and truly up,
but it is still a bone of contention, and it is going to be a bone of contention with design for a very long time. And I can see, the thing is, you know how I feel about this. I know there are places where AI is going to be used, and it will be used, and it'll be done to good effect. But for taking the grunt work out of things, it is great. But the whole thing about letting it do the art, no, it just freaks me out. It freaks me out. I don't like the idea of something that is essentially going, I can do this and I can do it quicker and faster than you, and you will never be needed ever again.
I don't.
Goodbye.
And I don't think, I don't think Ben certainly was talking in that context of how his students are approaching it. So some of the stuff that he showed was LGBTQ centered pieces of work that he felt would not have been able to have been done without AI filling the gaps, just because of the topic and the nature of the topic that they wanted to show on screen, the art of the topic on screen.
So what you're saying is that couldn't have been done without AI?
In the budget / time frame / ability of that learner's journey. And these learners are not just CGI people. They're storytellers.
No.
They are, they're,
of course,
those sort of things.
But then that, you see, is where I have an issue again, you see, because you literally just said, in the time available, and they didn't have the skill sets to do this, therefore they used this. But there was also, that's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's literally the issue right there.
I suppose the debate ongoing is great. We've got pictures, so you see my hands. The debate ongoing now is, you've got students coming out of university here, and from the good universities they're coming out here. And what are we saying that with AI all students are going to get to this point? So what does the industry? Does that push the industry up? I don't know.
We've both used it. We've both used it to get ideas and reference, and that's absolutely as long as you don't use everything that you pick up in an image. It's like I might as well, if I'm going to scour the internet and I'm going to find
photo bashing and
it's like exactly. So I kind of get that, but there's still a creative element where I sit down and I go, I like that bit from there and I like that bit from there. So it is kind of like how you would piece them together. What I don't like is this conceptual belief that it's going to basically be used by people who are not artistic at all to avoid having to get someone artistic to do something on a project. That's where I have a fundamental issue with it, when it's a bypass rather than a tool.
I don't believe that is what will happen. I truly don't believe that is what will happen. What I believe is that the artistic people will enhance their tool set further as we did in the mid 90s when when Maya was born, and suddenly you had Bezier curves on your keyframe editors, and you could ease in and ease out, you could step keyframes, you could do all of this stuff that before had been a much more laborious job. And if you remember Toon Boom, in the very first instances of Toon Boom, you still had to hand draw in digital all of those cells. Now you've got the tweening. Now you've got the
you've got the tweening.
Yeah, you've got all the onion skinning. You've got puppet rigging. You've got all of the things that are starting to break down and cross the boundaries that were. Some people have even said, "Oh, that was traditional 3D animation." 3D animation was, pre-1990, 3D animation was a nightmare.
Yes.
It was numbers and figures and spreadsheets.
But the tools that have been put in place are tools. They are not creative ideas.
No, they are they are machine learning data stacks that have been put in place, and that is in essence.
Are you telling me an ease in, ease out Bezier curve is the same as a picture being created from nothing?
No, but it's a stack of code that has been created to take what was once very laborious, labor-sensitive task into something that happens with just a quick flick of a curve node.
And I don't have a problem with that, because that doesn't stop people from working. I have a problem with the picture creation side.
The thing is, you say it doesn't stop people from working. Pre that node being made, people were stopped working and had to work at a very laborious pace and couldn't achieve those soft curve animations.
All I'm saying, John, is that is not a creative thing. That is a tool to allow you to do something
it
that
is,
you already
and this
do
is
quicker.
what I believe the AI will be a tool.
That's yes, and that I have no problem with. I have no problem with it being a tool. I have a problem, as I've said, with it being a creator.
Well, it's look, let's face it. I see the feeds on LinkedIn of, I'm going to be careful how I say this, but the lecturers that are out there that are non-creative lecturers. Lecturers. These are the lecturers that are delivering maths and English lessons and other things.
Yes.
And they're building AI avatars to fill their AI presentations that have been AI written for their lesson plans. That's a problem. It's a time saver, yes, but it's also a problem because you are allowing the machine to make decisions about direction and narrative, and that's the next generation of our workforce that's being fed that artificial, and I hate to say the word, but it's intelligence that's not intelligent.
Yeah, it's unintelligence.
And I'm
having that.
The businesses are
unintelligence.
Are the businesses seeing it as being an opportunity to, push more out of individual tutors? Are they seeing it as being able to level up and equalise all of the things that are going on in the classroom, and they're removing that tutor's experience from the equation? There's a danger of that happening. That's where I really have an issue with the edu AI conversation. I don't really, I think, have an issue with the art-based narrative, because we have made such a definitive statement of we do not want AI in our, to take our workflows and creativity away. That's been stated.
It's not the work. It's not the workflows, as I've said. It's not the workflows. It's the creativity. Yeah. If there's something that can make my job quicker, then that's wonderful. But if there's something which can just do my job for me, that's just shocking.
But what do you guys think? If this stays in, open it up for questions. Certainly get involved in.
Some of it will definitely stay in, John.
Certainly get involved. It will be, people need to talk about this, and they do need to talk about it in a safe space. And again, the podcast, the Graphters Podcast Discord server is a safe place to have these conversations.
You can have proper conversations with people that understand the industry you either work in or want to work in because they're already in it. So they can give you insights which will help you in your decisions as to whether you want to do this for a living. And then there's students who are actually using things that some of the tutors aren't. So there's new life coming up as well as there is information coming down. Yeah. That's important. It is worth, and again, if you can just chat about it.
Yeah, and it is worth noting, that some studios are now starting to invest in exploring how AI will, exacerbate parts of their workflow. That should be taught now. That should be explored now in education. That is something where, students should be looking at how they can maximize their efficiency with whatever AI tools help them to get their ideas, their creativity, to a level where it might be something that they get to be asked to do in a studio at some point. 2 years. I mean, 2 years from now, no one knows what it will look like. Yeah, so it was great being out there. I'm not going to do too many shout outs, although I will do a shout out to Kader. So I was grateful to see Kader, who works at Rise in Germany.
Okay, so she works for Rise in Germany.
Works for Rise in Germany, but she's also an ambassador for Access VFX and does a lot of work over in Europe on the diversity and equality of people in animation and VFX. And it's just truly, when you listen to her talk, she's just brilliant. So big shout out to Kader, absolutely wicked, and all the Access team. So Micah, he's an absolute legend, full of energy, which which we need, I think, at the at times when you're trying to get as much coverage on the stand to talk to as many people about the cool things that Access VFX are doing. So yeah, it was really good.
Having people with a bit of an emotional burst works well, doesn't it?
It does. It truly does. So yeah. And it was just generally really nice to see someone that you've met before, so it feels like you're a part of a family. Big shout out to Vanessa Steinman of FMX as well. That was obviously puts a lot of this stuff together at FMX. So Vanessa, next year we want to do a podcast.
That's now going to be visible on YouTube. That fact, as well as also on the audio version that you'll find on Spotify.
And
although other good podcast players are available, apart from Google Podcasts, because they just
they've closed it this week.
They just went and got rid of it.
So FMX on the whole was absolutely brilliant, and if you haven't been, go. It
is good crack.
It's brilliant, and it's in Germany. It's in Stuttgart. There's usually a beer festival on. Next year it's going to be in May, so it will be warmer.
Oh,
yep, they promised. I have it tagged on a LinkedIn
There's some great
post.
places
it's going to be warm.
There's great places to eat in Stuttgart as well.
There's some
great places to eat,
fantastic.
great places to drink. There's a beautiful garden slap bang in the middle as well, which if you're wandering around, there's a place that I got recommended that I went to, and I hope it's still there. I should think it probably is. It's called Amadeus, and it's got a courtyard in the middle, so you can sit in there as well as being inside of the bar, which actually is massive. And they do food as well as drink. No, it's great, lovely. But indeed, rock me Amadeus, indeed. I have to say, I'd never been to Germany before, and as a first time to go to Germany, it was a beautiful place to go to.
Awesome.
Really lovely Stuttgart.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So that was FMX. That
cool.
was the week that was.
So I've got stuff coming up, and that's all. I've currently got. If I'm going to talk work at the minute, if that's okay, John. May I?
I'm going to sit back and listen.
Oh, I wouldn't do too much of that. I am doing. Actually, speaking of Germany, I'm working on a project with a friend of mine called Alex Kuchera, German VFX guy, and we are doing. I can't say what it is, but it involves me doing a bit of sculpture and a bit of modelling and a bit of design work in mainly Blender.
Oh,
I am going to have to go into. I'm going to have to go into Maya. So I've done all the sculpting work and the displacements and everything like that inside of Blender. I'm having a slight rigging issue, which I've been trying about 4 or 5 different workarounds that haven't worked. So I might actually have to do the animation inside of Maya, and then alembic it out of Maya and put it into something else. So because I've also got to put it into a bit of Houdini as well for some simulation stuff.
Houdini.
So it's Houdini. So it's a real big hodgepodge of stuff. And then a friend of mine is doing some language course stuff for Spanish, people learning Spanish, and she's got an idea for a comic strip, and so I'm doing the whole comic strip for her, and I'm doing that in Blender. I'm doing the whole thing in 3D in Blender because I just thought I could draw all this stuff, but I've got so many. There's one particular two characters who are very, very much in it all the way through.
Yep.
So I just thought, I'm going to go, like Roy of the Rovers. I thought, I'm going to Daz 3D this, basically. So I'm kind of doing that, but I'm just doing that with Blender. So that's working out well. I'm really pleased about that.
Well, Hazimation have just done a similar thing, haven't they? They've just done all of their latest episodes of their Moontopia, which was a game, but they've made it into a short movie. So it's so it's a movie now, and it's been done in UFEN, Unreal Engine for Fortnite. Fantastic. Haz is,
UEFF.
Yeah, Haz is a genius in, how he's pivoted and used the technology to accelerate the idea and get his IP out there. So, big props, Haz. Big props.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's superb. So,
but you have got chocolate from Tim.
Yes, and do you know what? Here's me scouring around for it.
It's in the fridge.
Basically, no. Oh. No, I'm not allowed to put it in the fridge. Alex doesn't like chocolate in the fridge, so I can't put it in there. In fact, all my family think I'm mental for wanting to put chocolate in the fridge.
We put in the
fridge. I think it's great. I love it because you take a piece off.
And it's cold and you have to just crunch it.
It's cold and it's really hard. Really got to get your teeth into it. It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy doing that sort of stuff. But no, I like all that. No, so, but let's just say last night, what is it? It's Mijkel chocolate or whatever. It's the milk chocolate, fruit and nuts.
Went like that.
Yeah. Well, we're with it. The problem is we'd had some dinner, and it wasn't a massive amount. It was but it was the right amount, perfectly the right amount. And then we were watching Masterchef.
Makes you hungry.
And all of a sudden, I was like, "Do you fancy like a brandy and a bit of chocolate?" And Alex was like, "Ooh, I don't want the brandy." I went, "No, we don't have the brandy. No brandy. But I do like the idea of the chocolate." Oh, that food looks nice. Yeah.
Well, Marie was.
It's too easy.
Marie was upset that we went to lunch at Wentworth.
Really?
So she said, "Oh, you took Gary out to Wentworth." And I said, well, it's a nice evening. Do you want to go up to Wentworth? So we did tonight. So that was nice.
Oh right, you didn't go the same evening.
That would have been overkill.
Yeah. I must admit, it was very nice having a burger and chips at lunchtime, and then going home in the evening.
Yeah.
To another burger. It was actually they were both good burgers. I mean, I always want to cook the dinner,
it was good. So so that's you. That's how you are stacked up with work at the moment. Then for the foreseeable.
I am, and there's other things in there as well. It's a friend of mine called Lila McConnelly, and Lila's amazing, and I have so much time for her. And she's had an idea for a children's TV show for what feels like forever, and it looks like it's going to happen, but not in a mainstreamy kind of way, more in a sort of a potentially a streaming kind of way.
Oh well, I'm down for all that. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's actually, it's a really lovely idea. It's absolutely ideal for putting on for kids on a streaming service where, and it's not like, I mean, here's the thing. Basically, if you think about all the broadcast stuff that's happening today, there's a lot of things that have to be sort of like reined in, and we need to do that with this, and then bring it in. We need to put it into this tiny little box, and once we get it into the tiny little box, then we'll be able to air it. And when this is quite a broad thing, there's a lot of stuff going on in it, and she wants me. Well, she's asked me if I'd like to do some animation for it. To which the answer is, of course, yes, Lila, because it's you. Of course, I will.
Give me a couple of shots.
What do you mean? What? Well, I don't know. I mean, how much do you charge? What's your day rate?
Oh.
Sorry, running gag.
300.
VFX. Yeah. I don't know whether anyone else has seen this, but it was on LinkedIn, and it was a little article about freelancers, and it was actually a film, a hashtag film, to ask the media industry as a whole why they've kind of forgotten about all the freelancers who basically have helped them over the years and why there's no work out there.
Well, I've heard a story that freelancers are struggling to pay the rent, the bills. People just not getting paid.
It's like anything. I mean, you know, I've had some serious problems with it over the last 12 months. Not to put too fine a point on it, I had 3 months where I couldn't really get any work at all. And it was not for want of trying. In fact, I don't think I've ever tried as hard ever before to get work as I did during those 3 particular months. And it was torturous, you know? I mean, it really was. I was not expecting it to be... I wasn't expecting those 3 months to be as bad as they were. And I'm now 54. I mean, I don't look it, I know. I look 23 if I'm a day. But, you know, having to actually ask my parents for help was a real... I've never done it before. You know, and it was just like, wow, what? How? Why?
Yeah,
This
it's
isn't
the
fair.
contingency stuff, isn't it?
It is, and the thing about freelancing is it's feast or famine, but I've never seen a famine that's that dry, and it's still, you know, for a lot of people it's still bad now, and I know there have been, you know, I've heard people talking about, is my rate too high? Am I charging too much? And to which the response has been, have you changed how much you ask for? Have you changed the rate that you think you're worth for the experience and the time and the fact that you can do a job in 3 days it would take a junior 6? You know, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about here. And they're all like, well, I don't know. And it's like because you are kind of in this, like, I don't know, what's the best thing? What's the word I'm you're just clutching at straws as to wondering what's going to be the next thing you do.
I remember it. I mean, that's how we met at 422 Manchester. I was brought in as a freelancer, and you know that was a bit of a feast. You know, getting the work from 422 Manchester because it was a good payday. But
yeah, but then unfortunately you met me, so
well, then you
kept
telling me to go home, and I was like, shh, I'm on an hourly rate.
Yes, I did. And why did I tell you to go home, John?
Because I was eating all the food.
No, that's not the reason. I mean, it was, but it wasn't the reason. The reason I told you to go home, and it's the same reason I tell everybody to go home, is because you are no use to me
when you're tired.
If you haven't had a proper night's sleep the following day.
You need 8 hours of sleep. You need 8
Should
hours
have.
of R&R
sleep.
time and 8 hours of sleep.
Quality
It's
sleep.
8, 8, 8.
Yeah.
That's the true way of working, is do it in 8s.
Yeah. So in the mornings you should have a couple of hours, 2-3 hours in the morning, really. But no one does.
No.
Because they get up at 7 and have to be at work at like 9:30, and all that time in the morning is running around with the dog, kids, getting yourself together, and then you're getting in the car, and then you're driving there, then you're looking for a parking place, then you find a parking place, then you try and remind yourself where the parking place is later on.
Yeah.
But
it is one.
You know,
it's
and
one,
then you get
one
to
of the
the
best
place.
things about working from home at times is that you walk into your office with a hot mug of coffee that you had for breakfast, and there's
hot mug of coffee,
no travel at all. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's probably worth us just doing a bit of a shout out. At this time, we've not announced the winner of the Easter challenge. We're not going to announce the winner, but we are saying that the challenge is now closed. And the marking has been done and underway, and we are happily looking forward to announcing that soon.
And I want to show you something as well, if I might.
Yes.
Because now this is very important, so I might just get away from the microphone to show this. But finally, something which is probably going to... So don't keep in mind, right, the Easter contest has just finished, okay? So here is one of the hoodies, which is going out for the Christmas one. It's only May, people. So that's what you get in the front. Yep. And on the back,
it's fabulous.
Is that clear?
No, just come forward. Oh,
it's hang on, you don't need my head in as well.
There you go. Stop. Yay! Yeah, they took a little longer to procure than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Been busy.
Just a tad. But we are on the ball now, and we will be moving forward to those. So those I'm actually posting those tomorrow. Do you know what? I had actually very quickly before we go. I had the most horrible experience ever. No, we were in a museum, and this was a few years back. We were in a museum in London. It was a National Science Museum, and I was there with my brother-in-law and my 2 children. And we were bombing around this place, and it was a really lovely time, actually. It was a really nice time. And we went past the museum exhibit on computers.
You
And
saw
in
the ones
there-
that you had used previously.
I saw the ones that I had as a kid, yes. A ZX Spectrum, and I was like, that was my computer.
I had that. Yeah, I had one of them.
Yeah.
And a Commodore
I
64.
always wanted a Commodore. I wanted a Commodore. Well, I wanted either a VIC-20 or a
and I
Commodore
also
64.
had an Atari.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. And I
Proper plain art,
with
and 16-bit colours.
with the
Was it
yeah, with
no,
the paint
no.
package on it as well. It was brilliant.
D-Paint.
Which I loved doing graffiti on.
D-Paint.
Brilliant. Didn't have a pen, just
I remember doing some colour corrections on something on D-Paint because it was a sprite sheet that had been done by one of the other guys in the room, and I said, and they needed to change the kit to be a different team, and I went, I'll do that. And they went, you sure? Because I was doing all the 3D stuff. I said, no, I'd love to. I want to have a go. So hard. I'd never done any anti-aliasing like that before, and it was so hard. You couldn't just I'm just going to select all of these ones that are the shade blue, and I'm going to change them to red. No, it wasn't like that at all. If you could have done that on D-Paint, it would have been great. I'll probably have what I'll have now is I'll have Blizz contacting me when he listens or stroke watches this and going, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. But I recently I did discover that there is someone who's actually put D-Paint out on the internet, haven't they? There's a release of it, a free one. Yeah, that someone's put out, and so but it's D-Paint, and you try and use it with because you did it all with the mouse. It was like point click. So one of these things with a Wacom tablet that was never used in those days. It just didn't exist. Tablet. So you go dink 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 dink. Well, they still don't exist if I remember. No, I'm joking. But you go click 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 click. You can see my mouse. I can see my mouse. So I can go click click. I'm going to click around my face. Click 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 click. And it takes forever.
Somebody's going to create that.
When you see people
that and make that into a meme, you know that's.
Click 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 click. Headphones. Click 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 click.
I had a very.
I'd love to be a meme.
I had a very reflective conversation yesterday actually with a gentleman called Richard Lewis from. He's a CEO at Pipeline FX, which does Cube software. So it's a render farm manager, and a lot more. It does a lot more. But we were reminiscing about the good old days of Alias and Wavefront technologies, and just it was
Explore TDI,
all of that. And he was part of one of the largest resellers in the US, and obviously I was part of one of the largest resellers in the UK. And it was just some of the projects that we probably collaborated on by sharing kit was unbelievable. And it does make you realise, that, and I'm not going to go back to AI, but that there are evolutionary points in time where the industry just explodes. And I was thinking about this. I reposted when I came back from FMX a post on LinkedIn that was a professor asked 100 students or 1,000 students to put their name on a balloon, and then they lifted all the balloons up, and then he dropped the balloons and he said, right, you've got 5 minutes to find your balloon, and they all dived in and they failed miserably, and then he did it again and he said, okay, we're going to drop the balloons, and this time I would like it if you find the balloon, find the person whose name is on the balloon. And within 3 minutes, everybody had their balloon with their name on it. And it sort of struck a chord with me that, going back to when we learn things and when we're doing things in this industry and education, when you see the big leaps forward, it's when everybody shares what they're doing. So if you kind of say, look, I've figured this bit out, what have you figured out? And you work out those little bits and pieces. And I think we're right on the edge of the next big leap. How close are we to quantum computing?
Very close,
Yeah.
and we have been for a long
We
time.
have been for a while.
But it is that. Yeah, it's been very close for a bit. I've been watching For All Mankind on Apple TV. The point of the whole show is that the Russians get to the moon before us. All hell basically breaks loose in NASA and in the government, and the desperate thing now is to get a manned station on the moon before the Russians do.
I've seen all of these episodes, so I'm not going to say anything.
I know, but the point is that it's change which is forced by a combination of adversity and collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's COVID has done that for us as well.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of things have been pushed forward. A lot of things that have been, out of the question, pretty much. Was it you who said to me? Oh no, I think it was either you or it was Alex who was saying to me, because I was talking about it. And she was saying that she'd seen something on the TV which had been talking about how the way that we are living now was predicted in about 2018. As in like everyone working from home, all this sort of stuff going on. But it was talking about like 2030. It wasn't talking like 2024.
Yeah, we were accelerated. Everything's gone.
Yeah, everything that was, and it was, it's saying that, you'll work from home, you'll probably go in every now and again, but it won't be very often. There will be certain people who will definitely do it, people who like brickies, and builders, and people who are on site. They'll still have to go and do their job, but anything that's admin based or anything that's like computer based, no one will actually work. There may be, it wasn't Alex, it was actually some friends who we walk with occasionally, and the way that we actually work right now has basically been boosted forward by the fact that COVID existed. And the same thing happened with the Second World War. All the technology that became created in and around the Second World War, we wouldn't have computers now had it not been for the Second World War.
If it had not been
Bletchley and everything that went on there, everything that happened to Bletchley Park basically created the modern computer, everyone, and then everything. And then slowly but surely people just took it on board like Babbage and, became and turned them into what they are today.
Truly.
And if one person hadn't created a small computer game on a big round screen, which is basically flying a little spaceship around, if that hadn't been created, we wouldn't have Uncharted. And that's what I'm saying.
Or Modern Warfare 85.
Or GTA.
GTZ. Are we at the end of the alphabet? I don't know.
No, GTA.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, yeah. What is it? Grand Theft Zero.
Well, it's San Andreas, and then whatever the latest one is. It's 6, is it? Oh, the latest one.
Yes, I think it is 6.
I think
yes.
the graphics card requirement for the latest one is off the scale.
But just think, in 4 years' time, that'll be in a standard PC.
No, in 4 years' time, that will be in the cloud, and you'll just access it through a box.
I think that's possibly it. Yeah.
The only thing that the only problem we've got at the moment that's stopping all that happening is latency. Once the latency issue has been fixed, it's done.
Will it be fixed? That's the question.
Well, I mean, look at what Teradici and HP Anywhere as it is now. Look at that. I mean,
yeah, but
you can
yeah.
if you're within
picture.
a 4,000 mile radius of the data center computer, your latency is enough to work on as an animator.
So that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, I've animated over Teradici quite a few times.
Yeah.
But I've tried editing over Teradici. That doesn't work, in my opinion.
It might well be your Teradici wasn't set up properly then.
Yeah, possibly. But I doubt that.
Well, I only said this because I know that
considering the place it was.
Yeah, I know that Flame works over Teradici, so
yes.
Flame's edited.
Yeah,
so,
but it was it could be the software, but it's just the picture and you know what I feel about this sort of thing. It's like wireless headphones. Don't do wireless headphones because when watching something, well, I don't. But
this segment
so
is sponsored by AKG headphones, the wired experience.
Can you? Where's it say AKG on mine? Is it on the end on the side?
It's right on the little bit there on the top.
Yeah.
I won't do that because
Yeah.
you'll see the bald patch at the top of the back of my head. It's thinning. It's thinning. Oh, it's getting there. Double crown. You've got a double crown.
Have I?
Yeah,
Have I now?
yeah, double crown.
I'm keeping. I'm doing the same. I'm keeping the
That's
headphones.
like a double yoke.
A double yoke. No, but a double yoke's amazing. A double crown is horrifying. Oh dear.
Fantastic.
Have you got a favourite biscuit, John? No, I'm not going to do that.
I have a favourite
all the
biscuit.
answers. And it's neither
It's a Lebanese.
custard cream nor a bourbon.
Lebanese.
Oh, the chocolate,
Yeah,
chocolate
Leibniz.
Leibniz.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that is.
Yes, I quite
that
like
is
those.
my favourite. That is like Swiss chocolate. On a, you know, you,
See,
yeah, you know where I'm going.
I do. Of course I do. Yeah.
It's how
But
digestive
mine,
should be.
Yes. Hidden almost completely inside a layer of biscuit, layer of chocolate.
It's
Yeah.
so thick.
Absolutely.
It's like concrete boots.
Yeah. You see, even though I do love a custard cream, and I do love custard cream, I don't know. There's something about a chocolate hobnob.
Before I got to be gluten intolerant, the go-to thing in our house was a dark chocolate digestive biscuit from Aldi.
Oh
That
yeah.
chocolate is just insane.
Other supermarkets
Are
are
available,
available.
but are
They
inferior.
are, but I'm not going in
I'm
them.
not going. Too expensive.
Well, it's not even the expense. It's just there's so many things. It's like I know, and this is the last thing I'm going to mention. It's just food. One of the things that I absolutely adore is that you go into Aldi and you go down the cold shelf, and every now and again there's something new that they've put in there, and it's kind of like, because it doesn't happen all the time, it's like it's a real treat. No, I love it when all of a sudden you go down an aisle and then there's this amazing tub of something which you've never had before. And you think, I'm going to try that. And you take it home and your family go, you've gone off piste again. And I'll go, yeah, but look what I've got.
Yeah.
And they'll go, oh.
Doesn't work with duct tape though.
So this has been our first test bed production.
It's
To see if
awful.
this is
This
actually...
is-
It's going to be atrocious.
Yeah.
It's going to be awful. But you know what? I'm going to...
We're gonna get there.
Remember? Do you remember day one of recording the audio
I do,
podcast?
I
Do you remember
do.
that? Yeah.
Oh,
And they were awful.
it was.
I mean,
it was.
they were shocking.
How many ifs? What?
But it's the worst thing was it was all the gaps.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we can fill in time. We seem to be better at not talking over each other. Saying that, we've been atrocious today.
I don't know.
But it's easier. It's easier with sound because you haven't got a sudden. You don't have this going all over the place.
Oh,
And
I have been bouncing around my screen. Something rotten. Just cut the whole end of this tail of it
think
off.
so.
Just cut the whole thing.
I might. Yes, we have a podcast that goes, hi, John. Hi, Gary. See you, John. See you, Gary. And on that terribly, awfully edited note,
If you are wondering why this is juxtaposed to a completely different way of us talking, we've just deleted the last 30 minutes where we went completely off piste.
well, we're going to go, well, do you know what, John? For a first time doing this, I think it's been an unmitigated disaster.
It has. This is one for the archives.
Definitely. At least now I know where to put my lighting.
You do. I mean, the first 20 minutes, I was struggling to see you.
It's like it's as if I'm trying to give information about somebody in a crime video without giving away my identity. The first part.
Number 3, please step forward.
I do not want to be recognised on this particular occasion, so therefore my voice is being replaced by an actor.
Or a neon. It does look
Right
much
then,
better.
John. It does, doesn't it? You can actually see my... I can't believe I'm saying it's better. You can see my
We
face.
can. It's cool.
Words... how many times have I actually said, I have got a face for radio? So many times. And also, I've got to mention his name, because he contacted me today, and I just wanted to say hello to David Sturzaker.
David,
You are
when
still
are you
allowed...
coming on the podcast? It doesn't have to be on video.
Oh, no, it does. It does. And we have to do it when we're standing up, because he towers over both of us. Yeah.
Well, you
He's
look,
not,
you look
he's,
down
he's
on
not,
me.
He's not short of a few inches.
You look,
What?
you look down on me.
I didn't want to say that, Sketch, because there are people who will listen to this and be like, what are they talking about? dated sketch, everybody. 3 people, different heights.
Absolutely.
Each one of different members of the class
Cleese,
system
Moore,
from the
and
1970s.
Who was the third one? Cleese, Moore, and
No. It was John Cleese.
Dudley Moore.
Then it was what's his name? Ronnie Barker.
And Dudley Moore.
And then Ronnie Corbett.
Oh, it's Dudley Moore.
And Ronnie Corbett.
Was it really?
Ronnie Corbett. Ronnie Corbett. From the man who is the king of Corbetting, trust me, it's Ronnie
I
Corbett.
believe there was a Monty Python version.
Very possibly.
And Dudley Moore was in it.
Can we finish this thing?
Go on then, let's finish it.
So I'm going to try this one more time. So, here we go. It's been an emotional roller coaster, as all of these, whenever we do a first of anything, always is. And but it's been fun, actually. It's been fun. And hopefully there'll be about 30 seconds worth of good stuff in all of this. He said hopefully.
The start and the end. And maybe the bit about
The start and the end. A little bit, yeah. That's. I mean, I'll make sure it gets fitted in. But in the meantime, we need to stop doing this. So I'm going to say thank you everyone for
watching,
taking the time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And please come back for more. There will be more of these. If you're in the car, you can always listen to the podcast. If you're in front of a phone or a TV or whatever with a screen,
we apologise.
Just bring down the picture so it's really not visible, and just listen.
240 is the best resolution to watch us on.
2x40, so it's like that. But yes, everybody, take good care. Actually, wouldn't it be like that? Wouldn't it? 2x40.
It would be.
It would. So yeah. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Come back for more of this if you really want to force it on your throat.
I promise we will get better.
And we will get better. Get better cameras, better lighting, hopefully better content. We can only wish for the best.
Yeah.
So on that note, it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
It's a good night from him. Yeah, it is. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
About you.
This work is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 4.0 International license. Any opinions stated during the course of this podcast belong purely to myself and to John and are based at the time that we record this. The theme music is My Everything by DJ Quads. If you like that, and I'm sure you probably did, there is a lot more of his great stuff which you can find at soundcloud.com/DJ Quads, or his music is also promoted by www.free-stock-music.com.